You went out and read the rave reviews of this brand new game some indie company who raised $2 million in a Kickstarter just released and decided to give it a try. You can make custom characters, they said. RPG goodness, they said. But oh shit, there's like 40 different stats and you don't know what to do with yourself, while potentially screwing yourself over 200 hours later. Well, this is the guide for you. So you want to play Fane, I mean a rogue. Here you are trying to be edgy when this game already has skills like Flesh Sacrifice for your needs. But no, coincidentally you need to go with the class with Ruptured Tendons in its name. I got you, fam. Play him as an undead elf if you're making him a custom character, or Fane as the preset characters. That's pretty much steps 1 through 3. No, really. Rogues require a lot of AP to be useful, so we don't need any of those other racial crapfests. I do not recommend any of the other starting characters, as their passives are wasted as well. Why? Just trust me and skip to the build section. If you don't, well, I guess here's why. A vanilla human has Encourage and a 2 initiative boost with a 5% critical strike chance. Not only is this basically the no flavor race, these will be all just wasted stats. If you as a rogue are using Encourage to buff your allies, I think you should probably change classes. Being in stealth, teleporting behind an enemy, and yelling over his shoulder on how his lizard bro's pants look great on him is probably anticlimactic. 2 initiative and a 5% critical strike chance seems to be good though, right? Well, since the release after early access, they changed initiative that it only determines turn order like this. Your highest initiative character goes first, then your enemy's highest, then your second highest, etc, etc. Now, all that matters is that you're the highest among your teammates. This, along with wits, really makes this the most competitive stat between you and your party members, just for absolutely no reason. It's good to have for sure, but really not all that necessary. Now the 5% critical strike chance. Backstabs are 100% critical strikes. You see where I'm going with this? As long as you're backstabbing, you'll always crit. When you're not, what are you doing? Encouraging? Even skills crit 100% of the time as long as you're stabbing them in the back. Dwarves are good on paper. You got sneaking, you got 10% dodging, you got more health. Wait, you're invisible half the time. Why have 10% more health? You're not even putting points into constitution. Plus sneaking is completely unreliable. In combat it uses 3 freaking AP, where an enemy Cyclone still exposes you harder than an iDubbbz exposes Leafy is here. Out of combat it's... what would you even use it for? Dodging because you're small is a pretty cute idea though. Now elves. Elves get Corpse Eater, which not only turns our rogue playthrough way more edgy, but libs can provide random skill books for you. The first one is coincidentally Adrenaline, which is super great. You now have 4 abilities and you just started the game. Flesh Sacrifice gives you 1 AP, 10% increased damage, and a constitution debuff depending on your level. Who cares about 7% of your health? After it wears off, you get your health back anyways. You essentially just get free AP to teleport or backstab someone, or even move out of a sticky situation. Sticky. Lizards. They're better off as wizards. The Firebreath scales, pun intended, with intelligence, and since when have you heard of rogues killing stuff by burping fire? Creating a carpet of fire that you probably will have to go through to reach your enemies is probably a bad idea. Especially if you want to heal yourself with poison and question why you're seeing 42 virgins spectating your game as you blow up. The resistances aren't anything special either to note. You're better off avoiding damage than tanking it. Now, onto why you should pick Fane, or any undead for that matter. But Fane specifically. He is an undead human. It's important to make that distinction because it means that he's lucky to get blessed with one of the best passives in the game, giving him that 2 initiative and the 5% critical strike chance, along with the situational play dead skill. Initiative is obviously super good, and the 5% critical strike chance is just butter compared to the free skills and lore that an undead elf gets. Yeah, I'm not mad. The play dead skill offers a ton of variety in gameplay, thankfully. Not only does it provide you a way to get out of any bad situation by feigning death, then chugging as many poison things you can find in your inventory, but also assisting your friends by giving them aggro. When they are attacked, they are more likely to play with strategy and perform better. Keep in mind though, that when you are playing dead, your cooldowns do not decrease, but you do restore AP per turn. Chugging potions and changing armor do not break the skill either. The real treat when you are playing with an undead is to have infinite lockpicks. If you're making a rogue and didn't think you'd be speccing into thievery, then well, you're doing it wrong. This gives you the ability to get into rooms you shouldn't have access to yet, which is super fun, along with being able to pickpocket NPCs for their gear and skill books, which is a game changer early. Plus you can now sell all the lockpicks you get for some extra playing around money that you can spend buying things than stealing your own money back. Sneaky skeleton powers. Though some say it's hard to explain puns to a kleptomaniac because they usually take things literally. But Fane truly shines because of his sword skill. It pretty much acts like an adrenaline, except you don't have to pay the 2 AP cost next turn. 2 free AP is always a game changer in my book, especially compared to some horrendous sword skills the other characters get. Oh wow, the Magisters are super afraid of Sebel curing her cripple status for the cost of some of her god juice. My first aid skill must be a god too, yeah. Let's move on to build. I'm going to give you guys suggestions for the starting skills and what you should put points into early. You can then divert into anything that would synergize with your party. If you choose Feign, dump all your points into Finesse early. All of the rogue's abilities scale with Finesse and you do not need the memory slots yet. You can even use the Mask of 1,000 Faces to turn into an elf and eat the first limbs you see to get a free Adrenaline skill book. Be warned, you can screw it up and eat the limb as another race with no positive side effect. If you're an undead elf, put point into memory. There's an Adrenaline skill book in the form of human limb in the starting area, like I just said before, so snack away. Skipping a few columns, let's get down to talents. Do not get Gorilla. You will never be sneaking in combat due to the high AP cost as well as the frustration that it comes with, and the fact that 40% damage is not worth an ulcer. Instead, I recommend getting the Pawn. One free movement is amazing when your daggers are usually 1.5 meter range and the dude is standing 2 meters away from you. Repositioning is key. The rest depend on your playstyle. Some special mentions are a comeback kid, so if you do die, you get an extra chance, and dual wield 10% dodge chance might just save your life someday. As for skills, put a point in Scoundrel and Warfare. Okay, hear me out. You've probably seen many guys' conjectures and you probably thought, oh, you're a skeleton, you should get poison skills, otherwise you won't be able to survive and you're healed off of poison. Okay, wrong, they are all waste. First off, they all scale off of intelligence, and we are role-playing a character whose entire life story can be summed up by a shampoo bottle. 2, you're primarily physical, so why waste AP doing minimum magic damage? 3, drinking a poison potion, which is as simple as combining a health potion with an unbreakable item or an empty potion bottle in the poison barrel, heals at least twice the amount of any of these skills will. Or 4, contaminating usually leads to fire, which leads to getting yourself blown up. What about a Necromancer? Playing as a cool Necromancer rogue is super edgy. Okay, first off, making Necromancer work means that you need to get hit. A lot. Past your armor to get to your crunchy vitality. I get it because you're a skeleton. If you're getting damage like that consistently to make Necromancer useful, you're probably playing it wrong. 2, the skills aren't as useful for a rogue. Having a bloated corpse following you around sure is cool though. 3, you're already undead. Just talk to other undead people like a normal person. What 1 point in Warfare gives you is the ability to learn 2 CC or crowd control skills. Battle Ram and Slam, welcome to the jam. These skills both can knock down enemies in their path, making it much easier for your team to kill them. Not only will you be able to backstab people for damage, but just in case have enough abilities to potentially save your teammates later on. A must on higher difficulties. And obviously put 1 point in Scoundrel. It's pretty self-explanatory, you're a rogue. The specific skills to start with I recommend are Chloroform, Backlash, and Slam. But you've hated on magic attacks, why do you want me to choose Chloroform? Okay, this thing scales off Finesse. Notice how other magic attacks do not. This thing also puts CC on enemies so they don't get to take their turn, which is a game changer. You can also use this in stealth without breaking it, all for 1 AP. It's a wonder spell, especially if you have a mage in your party. 9 out of 10 mages agree on this. The other 1 out of 10 are humans with Encourage. Backlash. It's a 1 AP blink behind enemies, getting yourself to backstab range while also doing backstab damage. What's really not to like about this? Slam, as discussed before, gives you an area effect crowd control, making you stay flexible in build and usefulness to your team. Why not Adrenaline? If you're an elf, the first thing you'll be getting is Adrenaline within like 5 minutes of starting the game. Otherwise, it's really not that great of a skill early. Getting 2 extra AP for 1 turn is amazing if you want to pull off a stun or knockdown, but if we get it as a replacement for one of the skills above, then it seems counterintuitive. 2 AP backstabs will not change a fight in your favor early game, especially since you lose 2 AP the very next turn anyways. You'll be able to get the skill easily later on, but it's definitely not worth to be part of your first 3 skills to learn. At level 2, it's almost essential to put a point into Polymorph. You'll want Polymorph to get Chameleon Finger and Chicken Cloak. Chameleon Cloak is like playing Undead except you can move and your cooldowns actually cool down, so I guess it's just better. Your opponent won't be able to see you, so you can reposition and throw chloroforms to your heart's content, while spewing silly catchphrases like, "Hey man, are you able to smell the chloroform on this rag?" Yeah, that was so original. Sin 2, the quest for more lockpicks. Chicken Finger is amazing because it's a CC that is resisted by physical armor, which is the type of damage you do. Not only is it great because it renders the enemy useless for 2 turns, for 2 AP, it also makes the enemy flee away from you, so when they do change back to normal, they'll have to reposition again. Combine it with Ruptured Tendons, and they'll kill themselves while running away. Plus, yelling "form of chicken" when casting is absolutely hilarious, and a sure way to make you stand out in your next gaming session. You're welcome. From then on, get what you want. I suggest just maxing Scoundrel to get some of their cool abilities. Putting another point in Polymorph gets you access to wings, which can be useful if you want to avoid your mage's constant setting everything on fire. Plus, you literally get to have wings and fly. So fly, my friends, fly! Hopefully you'll just get a little more variety by playing this build than watching Bukkake Chef. It's so boring because the secret ingredient is always the same in that one.